I thought it was the end of the world. I just wanted to block everything out,
Trying not to sit up here at another press conference and cry in front of you guys, but
I wanted to leave tonight the world champ and just let myself down, man.
People are close to me know I went through some real mental struggles, man. Like I was going through some stuff.
Because every time I get in there, Saturday night, a piece of me is going to leave that I can never get back.
I'm the only one who has to deal with this, me and my family.
For most fighters, the belt is the object around which their lives revolve. But to understand the full significance of this title shot for Dustin Poirier, we need to go back to UFC 291, where he faced Gaethje for the BMF. A devastating head kick knockout appeared to vault Gaethje in a title contention, while sending Poirier to the back of a growing queue of lightweight contenders. The full agonizing nature of this setback would not become clear until it was in the rear view. Poirier got back in the hunt against the young, streaking phenom Benoit St Denis. Ballsy move from Poirier.
There's something about a man who's been to war. There's a difference in them. And you see that difference in Benoit St Denis.
High risk, not a lot of reward. A super dangerous fighter who looked like he was about to come into his own and just needed that signature win to secure his place as a contender. There was a pervasive sense that Poirier was a sacrificial lamb, and a lot of people expected the passing of the torch to be an extremely violent affair. That's exactly what Poirier wanted, to prove to himself that he was still capable of competing with the next generation of fighters.
This is like testing myself, throwing myself in the fire with a young guy who's on a finished streak and on a good run, has a lot of hype behind him. I know I still have it, but I want to prove it to myself. Let me fight this young man who has fire in his eyes, as a young lion who's finishing people. Let me put myself in front of this guy and see what happens.
In the fight, there was a characteristic onslaught from St Denis. But showcasing his experience and composure, Dustin weathered the storm and secured a stunning knockout. Poirier was uniquely placed to empathize with Benoit and tried to offer his opponent some words of encouragement.
I got to talk to St Denis a little bit before he walked out the octagon too.
Oh, what'd you say to him?
Told him to take care of himself, train smart. I said, if you want to do this, you'll be right back where you just were.
It was only in the aftermath of this victory that we understood the full extent of the deep depression from which Poirier had just emerged. This wasn't just retirement talk. It was a lot darker than that.
Was it to the point where you thought you might not fight again?
Yeah.
Or worse than that?
A couple of times. Yeah, worse, man. It's very scary.
I mean, we've seen Dustin grappling with loss before. He was notably crushed after the Khabib loss.
I wanted to leave tonight the world champ and just let myself down, man.
when I went back to my room after that fight, I really had a moment like of reality that hit me, and this could have been it. This could have been the chance, and I just blew it. When all the cameras go away, when all the music stops playing, when you're by yourself and you look in the mirror after a fight like that, or you go take a shower and the reality sets in, it's tough. It's tough pill to swallow sometimes, you know?
Heartbreak was again evident after the Oliveira fight.
You know, nobody wants to be used to losing, but I'm just used of learning, and it sucks, man. Worked hard to get back here to fight for another world title and got choked out again. Yeah, I'm just heartbroken, really. Opportunity I had is ruined, and it's all right. You know, that's what it is. I'll look in the mirror like a man.
So you wouldn't have expected the Gaethje loss to have been more overwhelming than those.
Really bad. Really bad.
To, like, worse than it's ever been?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was likely a confluence of factors that exaggerated the devastating impact of that loss. Firstly, he had already beaten Gaethje, so he wasn't losing to a champion. This loss represented him losing ground on the other contenders in the division. There's also the emphatic nature of the finish. A devastating knockout must be more demoralizing than a submission. Losing like that in front of millions of fans must feel like the psychological equivalent of a massive adrenaline dump. But above all, at 34 years old and having already lost 2 title fights, this must have felt like the sun was finally setting on Poirier's dream.
After the Gaethje fight, man, I went through some real mental struggles, man. Like I was going through some stuff. when you lose like that to a guy like Gaethje, and at this age, it really felt like, you know, all losses suck, but this one really hurt, you know, because I don't know how many more runs, how many more chances I have left.
He found some solidarity in Alexander Volkanovski, who was battling the same demons.
Obviously, I'm a big believer in preparation and stuff like that, but, you know, I back myself, so that's the decision I made, you know what I mean? Again, like, he's not somebody you should be taking a short notice with, but I needed it. Again, obviously, a lot of people will say it's for the money and all that, but, you know, it was much more than that. Like, you know what I mean? It is hard, like, it really is hard for athletes, sorry. I never thought I'd struggle with it, but I mean, like, for some reason, when I wasn't fighting or in camp, sorry. You know what I mean? I needed a fight, and then this opportunity come up, and I was struggling a little bit, not fighting, doing my head in. I don't know how. Everything's fine. I've got a beautiful family. You know, I need to be keeping busy. I need to be in camp. Otherwise, I'm going to do my head in.
Whenever I saw Volt, you know, talking and kind of express himself and being honest, I was like, you know what? We're going through the same thing.
Brian Stann once described how it can be difficult to separate yourself from what transpires in the cage. Your identity is no longer your character, your family, who you are, your faith. Your identity is the last performance you had in that octagon. The implication here is that if you just lost, that makes you a loser, which is exactly what Dustin was going through.
Like, I judged who I was by fighting. It was a person I am. If I'm not the fighter, Dustin the fighter, who am I?
Stan also described how it was not just losing. Even victory can be deflating because you can lose your sense of purpose. You had this huge mountain to climb, and when it's over, you kind of fall into this lull. It's like that until the phone rings and you get your next fight, your next mountain to climb. So even in victory, life can become hollow. As we know, Tyson Fury was the most extreme example of that.
I give up on life. And just as I was heading towards that bridge at 190 in this Ferrari, I heard a voice say, "No, don't do this, Tyson. Think about your kids. Think about your family and your little boys and girls growing up with no father. And everyone's saying your dad was a weak man. He left yous. He took the easy way out because he couldn't do anything about it. And I had everything that a man could want. There wasn't nothing that I didn't have, but it meant nothing. Nothing meant anything. I felt worthless. And the longer it went on, the more it hurt inside and the more I was hurting everybody."
So these are tough sports, both physically and psychologically. Starting therapy appears to have been pivotal for Poirier.
No, not a fight therapist. I started actually doing therapy after the fight. I think it's important to, like, open up and talk about how you feel. You know, we're such in the spotlight and being tough guys all the time and stuff, but we're people too. Dustin the fighter, but what about Dustin? You know, what about me? Life is deep, man. It's good to tap in with yourself, you know, and check in on yourself. Be good to yourself, like my boy Theo says.
And the support of people around him was critical.
A lot of people helped me. My friends, my business partners, but my wife, really, I'm just very thankful for her.
So between the people around him and his therapist, a major part of his emergence from the depression was in getting help. And that could be a difficult thing to do. In the depths of depression, sometimes the last thing you want to do is talk to people or to reach out. I'd imagine many fighters, and I know many people, suffer in silence. Another man going through exactly what Brian Stann described, impatiently waiting for the phone to ring with that next great challenge that would define the next chapter of his life, was Islam Machechev.
All respect for Max Holloway, but I don't know and I don't understand why UFC make this fight. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. It don't make sense. My opinion, Holloway is supposed to fight with Topuria next. Justin Gaethje is supposed to fight with Islam. But Islam ready to fight with anybody.
I don't want to wait too much. We don't have any option right now. Everybody busy. I want to fight, you know. I want to fight. And Poirier is free now. I am a champion and I want to fight soon, you know.
And so fortune, or should I say timing, favored Poirier.
Hunter started texting me Saturday of 300. You know, I was doing a viewing party up in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun. As soon as Arman beat Charles, he called me and said, hey, I'm walking back there right now. I'll let you know soon. You might be up next. Heart's pumping. I'm sweating. I'm around a bunch of fans. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I went back to my room with my wife and my niece and then waited for the call, and they came through.
Islam Machechev.
The buildup was not entirely, but mostly respectful. There was one great exchange.
When he meet with some wrestlers, he always have trouble. That's why he don't believe.
He should listen to his coaches and box like they're telling him to. Do that, Islam. Let's box.
This is not boxing, this is MMA, man.
Well, you're gonna sleep like it's boxing.
If you're not top, you will sleep.
I love that exchange. You know, Islam insists it's not boxing. Poirier comes back with, well, it doesn't matter. You're gonna sleep like it's boxing anyway. Great line. And Islam comes right back with a sobering reminder that it is MMA. If you don't tap, you're gonna sleep. Just a fun exchange. Of course, Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland, they outdid everyone. They put the entire arena to sleep. There was one legitimate moment of heat between the two.
Don't sleep.
I don't want to dwell on this too much. It was a miscommunication. But I will say I found it odd that Islam could take that as an insult, having spent so much time in the United States. Like, it was later clarified that you don't say that in Dagestan.
Because it's not good in our country. Maybe in US it's good, but our country it's not good.
But he seemed to legitimately not understand the context in which Poirier was using it, which is strange considering how much time he spent in AKA. It's just funny, you know, he must think the whole BMF belt is utterly reprehensible. But good promotion, a little heat before the fight to get Twitter buzzing. Much more interesting than the confrontation itself was how Poirier chose to handle it backstage, how he decided to clarify the situation. This was very cool and very confident. He was clear with Islam that he didn't mean any disrespect, but he wasn't being submissive or apologetic, just matter-of-factly straighten things out.
It's still war, but I would never disrespect your family. That's not my heart.
And it was good to see the tension settle before the fight, because this bout was not about animosity or bad blood. It was much more significant than that. Poirier would get what he felt was his last shot at the belt. Without committing to retirement, he sounds at least ready to let go of grinding his way back to title contention.
I feel like I've done everything in the sport but wrap the undisputed title around my waist. Some of these longevity records and stuff are cool, but being an undisputed champ is the reason I started fighting, and that still means a lot to me.
Getting title shots, working my way back up over and over again, like full circle here, back at another title shot. Just, it's an incredible story if I can finish it this way. Every cut, every drop of sweat, every mile I've run throughout the last 18 years of fighting, that's all, you know, when I win that belt June 1st, been paid in full, you know, that's what this is to me. Because I don't think that I'm going to be around to get another shot. But I understand what it is. I'm 35. The division has to move on at some point, but I'm trying to finish this thing, man. The reason why I put a pair of gloves on when I was 17 years old to say I'm the best in the world, and June 1st, my plan is to do it and finish this story, bro.
So win or lose, retire or not, this fight would likely be the culmination of his life's work, of a goal that has consumed him for more than half his life.
All of this time, I know that he has been waiting his whole life to climb up something and put his hands in the air because he did it the best.
Poirier also wanted to show his daughter that traits like hard work, dedication, and all the sacrifices she had seen her father make for so many years would ultimately be rewarded, that those strengths lead to success.
And my daughter's going to be there front row for the first time ever.
Wow.
I want to show her that you can accomplish your dreams. You know, this is a big deal to me. It's more than fighting.
Beyond the fight, there was that larger looming question of Dustin's retirement from the sport.
You win, now you've reached the mountaintop, now there's some paydays to be had. Why would you walk away then?
Paydays are great, you know, but I've gotten those. I'm good. Me and my family are good. I'm about to get another one. We're good. Like, I'm not chasing money right now. I'm okay. I'm chasing a Hall of Fame career, an undisputed world title, checking all the boxes that I set out when I was 18 years old. You'll be right back where you just were.
So this was it. Last chance. Poirier had his moments, busting Islam up. It was grueling. According to one judge, it was even heading into the fifth. While I didn't agree with that, Islam certainly had to dig deep. But this is the thing with these types of champions. When big questions are asked, they have big answers. In the fifth round, Islam seemed prepared to do anything to finish the fight, to claw his way to certain victory. He got the ankle pick, dragged Poirier to the mat, and quickly locked up the submission. As Islam had predicted, the grappling was ultimately Poirier's undoing. Once again, the belt slipped through his fingers. Third time's not the charm. But it didn't appear to be the emotional devastation of previous losses, at least not that we've seen.
You know what's so crazy about your demeanor right now? Comparing this guy to the guy who we spoke to on the Monday after Gaethje. It's a totally different person. And yet the stakes were bigger in this fight.
Of course, not happy with the result, but I'm happy with who I am. Like I put out a video the other day on Instagram, and it's so true, man. Like, what's more important, what you acquire on the journey or who you become on the journey? And the person I've become on this journey, I'm forever grateful for the fight game, for turning me into this person. Because the way I think about things, the way I view things, my perspective is completely different. And it's all because of the ups and downs and picking myself up. And I just look at the world in a different way, and I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm in a great spot.
In the post-fight press conference, Dustin spoke about his future in the sport with uncertainty.
I was fighting to be the world champion. Like, what else am I fighting for? Just to fight for the thrill, because I am addicted to it, no doubt. But fighting is such a selfish sport, man. And I've taken away from the people I love by focusing so much on myself and trying to master this craft. They want me to stop. But I know I can still compete with these guys. I just got to figure out what I'm fighting for.
I can't imagine Dustin retires here, but it was touching to hear his rationale. Because when he said he was going through hell after the Gaethje fight, it was his wife above anyone who helped him through those dark times. And as having had to adapt to living with Dustin at his lowest, he characterized himself as a burden to those around him.
If I was in her position, I don't know if I could take the stuff she's taken, you know. I would like to think I can, but I'm just grateful to have somebody like that.
Like the stuff she's seen you have to go through?
And the things I've put her through, going through it.
And this is true of mental health issues. It's not just the person in the throes of depression who goes through it. Often the people around them suffer with them. You have to bear the sometimes enormous weight of your loved ones. The life of an MMA fighter sounds like an intense, unpredictable emotional roller coaster for everyone involved. It's good to hear Poirier acknowledge that so readily, to express so much gratitude, and to be seriously considering giving up the sport for his family. Like Poirier still loves to fight.
That was just my mindset young. And but now here I am at 35. I'm like, I don't want to stop. You know, I love this. I've never lost 2 in a row. So whoever I go up against next is a dead man. But
well, now you sound like a guy who's going to fight again.
Exactly. My wife would whip my ass if she heard me talking.
But he did give us some insight into what fighting can entail for his family.
You know, I practiced a lot of mindfulness this camp. I kind of blocked myself out from everybody. I didn't respond to any texts. I didn't answer any calls. Like I took myself into another place, like this training camp, you know?
Literally not talking to anyone except your family? Like how deep do you go?
Even my family. I mean, I haven't spoke to my father in like 8 or 9 weeks. I just wanted to block everything out, you know? I just wanted to block everything out and really fully 100% focus on this fight.
I think most people can relate to this. If you've ever given anything 100%, you need to block things out. You need to focus. You need space. For a fighter, it must be even more intense, considering the stakes. For Poirier, it sounds like as soon as a fight gets signed, his mind becomes a very simplistic box, inside which only 2 things exist: him and his opponent. So Poirier talks about it being a selfish sport. I think that's what he means. The solitary, exclusionary nature of a fight camp, where Dustin the husband or Dustin the father doesn't really exist, at least not to the extent that he would like, or that he feels his family deserves. After the fight, he could be seen with his wife consoling their daughter, which was a resonant scene. We all know how significant a part of Poirier's mindset they had been coming into the fight. He had wanted to inspire her and show her that anything is possible. He fell short in the cage. But this last chapter of Poirier's career was nonetheless inspiring. It wasn't ultimately about triumph with respect to a belt, but it was about perseverance, about getting back to your feet when life knocks you down, which is in itself a form of triumph and the hallmark of a winner.
It's all about perseverance, man. I said that a long time ago. It's true. You just got to keep dusting yourself off, getting better, learning, growing, and good shit will happen if you work hard and you're committed, you know.
Beyond that, though, his daughter seems old enough to know that a significant part of the fight was that this could be Dustin's last shot, because spending time together as a family was his biggest priority moving forward. And that, I'm sure, will always be the most meaningful part of this final chapter for her.
I mean, I know it's coming. I can't do this forever. I'm 35 years old. This is my, I don't know how many, 40th professional fight. I have a lot of amateur fights as well. You know, I have a family to be there for, and I can't love something so much to where it takes away from what's most important. Fighting is just something I do.
I don't think I've ever asked people to like and subscribe. I like my likes and my subscribes to be unsolicited, but I'm trying to inject some momentum back into this channel. You know, I was very inconsistent over the last couple of years. I think I only uploaded 4 videos in the 12 months prior to this Colby video. So, you know, I do have to meet the algorithm halfway. And so I think the algorithm is kind of treating me like an unfaithful lover. It just does not trust me. Meanwhile, I'm uploading all these videos like, come on, babe, give me one more chance, will ya? I didn't cheat you. So please do me a favor and like and subscribe, and let's see if we can see some upside variance on this channel. Thank you.